What is he doing?
I can die. I think this is the first time I've had to re-record the whole video back to back.
The whole
And
video?
I always pondered the question, like, is it possible? Because these I'm like recording in here for like close to an hour. And I was like, could I ever have the high energy for 2 hours straight? I guess we're gonna find out today. Okay, let's start today with some absolutely wild news that broke on Saturday. Kabi Lame, the most followed person on TikTok, I think he's got something like 162 million followers, which is just mind-boggling to think about. He was arrested by ICE agents and deported out of the United States. And
did that actually happen? No way. Kabi Lame was deported? Bro, what the heck? What's going on?
this guy is a multi-millionaire. He is world famous. As I said, 162 million followers. And if he can be arrested and deported, no one is safe. And the start when this news first came out, we didn't actually know if it was true because Khaby, who's originally from Senegal, well, he is a citizen of Italy, and that's where he is believed to be living. So why he's getting
That's what I was, wait, what? That's what I was asking myself. Isn't he an Italian citizen? Where was he deported to? And, wait, doesn't he live in Italy?
Deported from the United States, bit of a strange one. And the community notes even came through and they're like, this is a complete lie. Turns out, the community notes was wrong because ICE have now confirmed to multiple media outlets that they did in fact detain Khaby, and they said in a statement to the AFP and Men's Journal, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement detained Kabi Lame, 25, a citizen of Italy, June 6, at the Harry Reid International Airport, Las Vegas, Nevada, for immigration violations. Lame.
Okay, so I think what happened was, wait, Lame entered the United States and overstayed his terms of visa? He overstayed?
Entered the United States on April the 30th and overstayed the terms of his visa. Lame was granted voluntary departure June 6 and has since departed the United States. And here's the interesting part about all of this, because the news was not only broken by Bo Loudon, who, if you don't know, is a good friend of Barron Trump, Trump's son, and is one of those people who played a major part in Trump's social media strategy when he was running for re-election. So yeah, not only did he break this news on Twitter.
Now, why does this remind me of Daredevil? Have you guys watched Daredevil? Why did that remind me of Daredevil? You know, Kingpin has kind of like an assistant who is so young and does social media.
But Bo was the person who actually tipped off the Department of Homeland Security and I guess got him deported. He said in a tweet, I discovered that he was illegal who overstayed an invalid visa, evaded taxes, and I personally took action to have him deported. And then he ended the tweet with, no one is above the law. So I decided to reach out to Bo and ask him a few questions like, how did he find out that, you know, Kabi Lame was on an invalid visa? And secondly, why would he take it upon himself to get him deported? And so
no, but it's crazy. Why would Kabi Lame do that? I mean, as he said, he's a multi-millionaire, and why would he just why would he risk his life there? Because dude, what the heck, you can't overstay. Even doesn't matter how rich you are or powerful you are, you can't overstay your visa.
So if I have the interview, let's play that now, Alex. So we did actually get the interview, guys, just letting you know. Bo, as I mentioned, is the person that broke the news. Like, how did you know about the whole Kabi Lame thing? Like, how did you know that he was overstaying his visa?
So he had worked with a few of my friends, so my business partners. They worked with him, and he was on one of their companies. Basically, they just told me, you know, his visa was revoked 3 years ago, yet he's come back to the U.S. 49 times on a revoked visa. He was making money in the United States, and many people were saying that he was signing contracts under different names and sending money back to Senegal. So he was like in the country, evading taxes, and on a revoked visa for 3 years. I just called some buddies in the administration, and I've never seen anything happen so quick. They were like, we're gonna get right on this. They actually gave him until June 1st to self-deport, but he didn't do that either. He wanted to stay because he had other contracts signed to attend things in the United States, one of which I was at. There was the Beautiful Game, it was called, with a bunch of celebrity soccer players and things like that, and Khaby was supposed to be there, signed contracts to be there. but that was the day before he got deported, because that was June 6th. Past June 1st, he was still in the United States on a revoked visa. He didn't self.
Dude, okay. Like, Kabi Lame didn't do the right thing. We all agree on that. But this dude right here, he's acting like he's proud of what he's done, but it feels like it's gonna backfire on him, because I know what Kabi did was wrong, but at the same time, that is such a low move. He's like, okay, he's friends with my friends, so I'm gonna go and, pull the rug on him. Why didn't he go and talk to Kabi beforehand, before doing this? It feels like he kind of got information from his friends and kind of like, stabbed them in the back, I guess. I don't know. It feels so weird. It feels unempathetic. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we don't know the full story. What he's saying is that Kabi did have a chance to leave the country, self-deport, and he didn't, which is such a bad move for Kabi. And what a crazy story.
Deport, so they went and picked him up in Vegas as he was in the air.
Okay, let's go back a second.
Got deported, because that was June 6th. Past June 1st, he was still in the United States on a revoked visa. He didn't self-deport, so they went and picked him up in Vegas as he was in the airport to head to Miami for that event.
They said that they arrested him at the airport, so I assumed he was trying to leave, but he was actually coming to that event, was
He was
he?
going to Miami, yes.
So he had no
Wow,
intention of
okay.
leaving either.
No, he's been very stubborn. That's why I said they gave him until June 1st. If he would have just flown out of the country before June 1st, he would have been totally fine. He wouldn't have to talk to ICE, nothing. He'd be fine. But he didn't do it for whatever reason. I guess it's because he signed other contracts. ICE went and picked him up, and they were going to do it sooner, but he was moving around a lot. He was like in New York, then Vegas, then wherever. So he was moving around a lot.
Damn, so they detained him at the airport, then they took him to, I believe it was...
The real question is, how did he get into the United States in the first place with a revoked visa? I mean, right? Like, if you have a revoked visa, you can't even get into the United States. How did he get through 49 times? Something seems a little bit odd in that, I don't know. I'm not saying he's lying. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the immigration officers, the 49 immigration officers, did they not do their jobs, or what was going on? There's something there. Or did he fly private? Or I have no idea. How did he do that?
His Henderson Detention Center, that's kind of like just towards the outside of Vegas. I'm assuming they kept him there for a little bit. I asked him a few questions and stuff, and then he was allowed to leave himself.
Yeah, that's the thing. If it's a case like this, he's not like a MS-13 or something. So they're not going to like forcibly remove him. They gave him the option to self-deport. I'm told, I think his attorney called immediately and said, booked you a flight to Canada. I'm pretty sure like they escort him to the gate and stuff like that. But when I first posted it, everybody was calling me a liar and saying there's no official proof. And then I posted the screenshot from the website saying Kabi Lame is being held at, I think it was Henderson County in Nevada. Everybody was still calling it a lie, because when they searched it, it was not coming up. And I'm like, well, the reason that is because it only shows when they're being held and while they're being processed. But that doesn't mean they were never held.
I was going to say, because that was the first thing that I saw. And I saw the community notes and everything coming up, and I was like, okay, this is a bit strange. And then the next day, when it was finally confirmed and they sent out the statement to all of the different medias that were contacting them, and they gave confirmation, I was like, community notes got that one real wrong. Do you happen to know what visa?
Imagine having a community note so that you can fact check and still get it wrong. Dude, we are in a crazy era of fake news, and the only thing that could help us, they still get it wrong.
Visa he was on that like he initially got accepted for, or no?
It was an agency visa, but him and that agency parted ways, like I said, 3 years ago. And so he was still on that agency's visa, though, without their permission.
So he was sponsored. So here in the UK, I don't know if that's how you call it in the US, but you get a sponsored visa, right? So you're linked to a company that sponsored you for you to be here in the UK. And then once you leave the company, that visa should be revoked. So apparently maybe the agency didn't know, or they left it with, maybe they forgot to go through with the cancellation of the visa, or I don't know. He did something which is that does constitute as fraud if he is pretending to work for that company and he's not working anymore. Does it? Is it fraud? I think so.
He got his visa revoked by that agency. Instead of going and finding a different one, he just stuck on that visa that he wasn't allowed to be on. And so that's just completely and utterly breaking the law. He was in this country working illegally. And not only that, but he was sending money that's paid for by his followers or, you know, American tax dollars, things that go through our system, and he was sending it back to his home country. No one can be above the law.
Also, one thing that you said in your tweet, you said he was a far left TikToker, and bro, I've never even heard the guy speak, let alone say anything political. So why are you calling him a far left TikToker?
I'm not sure if I don't watch a lot of his content, to be completely honest with you. I'm not sure if he's posted about it. I've seen a lot of videos of him saying like some pretty despicable things, many of which he just really does not like President Trump. And I'm sure he hates him much more now. So that's why I posted, you know, far left TikToker.
Interesting. So I don't know if you've heard much beyond what happens now, but do you know if he I'm assuming it's going to be very difficult for him to get back in to the US.
I'm sure he's going to try and come back on a different, you know, company visa or something. Problem is, he really messed himself up because he could have self-deported by June 1st and then coming back would be much easier. But now that he didn't do that, it's going to be really hard for him to come back. I wish him the best of luck. I hope he's able to come back as a law.
Does anybody know if he got a ban? Because here in the UK, like if you don't self-deport, then you're at risk of being deported, and then you get a ban up to 10 years that you can't return to the country. Don't know if that is the same case in the US.
Abiding citizen, you know, anybody immigrating to the United States. I have friends that have been in the United States for, you know, 10 years, and they maybe worked 5 years to come here legally, and it was a very long and grueling process versus the other guys that just, you know, walk all over it. And, you know, it's not fair to them. Someone who put all that time and effort to do something legal and to follow our laws and appreciate our country. You know, I want to look out for the little guys, the people that follow our laws, respect our country, appreciate it and its values, and don't abuse the system. So
all right, thank you so much for your time, man.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
Appreciate it, and I'll speak to you soon, eh?
Yeah, sounds good, man. Appreciate it.
So what are your thoughts on that? Now look, while there is the half of America that shares similar viewpoints to Bo when it comes to immigration, there is the other half, however, that share the exact opposite viewpoints, and currently right now they are protesting like hell. So let's talk about that, because that is our next story. And